Imagine you're swimming in the murky, dark waters of the Amazon River. You can't see more than a few feet in front of you. The water is warm, brown, almost opaque. And somewhere beneath you, something is watching. Not with eyes, not with ears. It's reading every single heartbeat you have, every tiny electrical pulse your muscles generate with every stroke you take. It already knows exactly where you are. And in less than 2 milliseconds, it can fire a bolt of electricity so powerful it could knock a horse to its knees. You haven't seen it. You haven't heard it. But it has already decided what to do with you. If you've never been genuinely terrified of a fish before, you're about to be. Before we go deeper into this, if you're the kind of person who loves discovering the most mind-bending facts nature has to offer, hit that subscribe button right now. Because on this channel, we don't do boring. We go straight to the edge of what science has uncovered. And today, that edge is absolutely electric. So, the electric eel. You've heard the name. You've maybe seen one in a documentary. You probably thought you understood it. A fish that shocks things. Interesting. Moving on. But here's what almost nobody realizes. The electric eel is not actually an eel. And the electricity it produces isn't just a defense mechanism or a hunting trick. It's something far more sophisticated. Something that has taken scientists decades to fully understand. And even now, the things researchers keep discovering about this animal keep rewriting the rulebook. Let's start with the basics, because even the basics are staggering. The electric eel, its scientific name is Electrophorus electricus, or more recently, after a stunning 2019 reclassification, scientists realized there are actually 3 distinct species. 3. For over 200 years, scientists thought there was one species of electric eel. Then in 2019, a study published in the journal Nature Communications blew that wide open. Electrophorus voltae, named after Alessandro Volta, the inventor of the battery, is the one that holds the record. And that record is genuinely hard to believe. 600 volts. That is the maximum electrical discharge of an average electric eel. But Electrophorus voltae? Scientists measured discharges of up to 860 volts. To put that in perspective, a standard electrical outlet in the United States runs at 120 volts. A European outlet delivers 230. The electric eel doesn't just outperform your household electricity. It absolutely demolishes it. If you're unlucky enough to be in the water when a large electric eel fires at full power, you will be knocked unconscious. Your muscles will seize. Your heart rhythm can be disrupted. And if you're in deep enough water, you will drown. But how? How does a fish, a creature that evolved in water, surrounded by water, which is a conductor, how does it shock things without shocking itself? This is where it starts getting genuinely strange. The electric eel's body is essentially a living battery. Nearly 80% of its total body length is dedicated to 3 specialized electric organs. These organs are packed with modified muscle cells called electrocytes. There are about 6,000 columns of these cells running the length of the animal's body, and each column contains up to 10,000 individual electrocytes. Every single one of those cells generates a tiny voltage when stimulated, about 0.15 volts each. But when they all fire simultaneously, in the same direction, those tiny voltages stack on top of each other in series, the same way batteries stack in a flashlight. And the result is a pulse of electricity that can stop your heart. Now here's the part that sounds impossible. The eel doesn't shock itself because its vital organs, its heart, its brain, its reproductive system, are all crammed into the front 5% of its body, the head. The critical stuff is isolated in a tiny biological safe zone, while the rest of the body is essentially one giant electrical weapon. But that's not even the craziest part. What scientists discovered next about how the eel actually uses this electricity completely changed the way we understand predator-prey relationships. For a long time, scientists assumed the electric eel had 2 settings: low power for navigation and sensing, we'll get to that in a moment, and high power for killing prey. Simple, binary, on or off. They were wrong. In 2014, Vanderbilt University biologist Kenneth Catania published a paper that revealed something nobody expected. When an electric eel hunts, it doesn't just blast its prey with high voltage. It does something far more calculated, something almost cruel in its precision. The eel first emits a series of rapid, high-frequency doublet pulses. Just 2 pulses. And those two pulses cause every single motor neuron in the prey fish's body to fire simultaneously. Every muscle contracts at once. The prey becomes completely paralyzed, not because it's been shocked into unconsciousness, but because its own nervous system has been hijacked. The eel essentially remote controls its target from a distance, without even touching it. Then, and this is the moment that made scientists deeply uncomfortable, the prey fish, now twitching involuntarily because of these remotely triggered muscle contractions, gives away its exact location through those very twitches. The eel detects those tiny movements in the water, homes in, and strikes. It uses its prey's own involuntary suffering as a GPS signal. Pause on that for a second. This animal has evolved a hunting strategy so sophisticated it would be considered advanced neuroscience if a human engineer designed it. And it evolved that in a river. But there's still more. And this is where things get dangerous, not just for small fish, but for anything living in the Amazon. The electric eel isn't a small animal. Adults can grow to over 2.5 meters in length. That's more than 8 feet. They can weigh up to 20 kilograms. And unlike most predators that get weaker with age, the electric eel keeps developing its electrical output throughout its entire life. An older, larger eel is proportionally more powerful than a younger one. The batteries just get bigger. And when the eel needs more firepower than usual, for example, when it's hunting something large or when it feels genuinely threatened, it has evolved a behavior that Kenneth Catania documented in 2016 that caused absolute uproar in the scientific community. It's a behavior the electric eel almost certainly evolved specifically as a response to large-bodied threats. Threats like humans, threats like crocodiles, threats like horses and cattle that wade into the Amazon's murky shallows. When a large threat approaches, the electric eel doesn't retreat. Instead, it launches itself, partially out of the water, and presses its chin directly against the threat. This behavior was first described in written accounts from the 1800s by explorer Alexander von Humboldt, who wrote about watching electric eels launch themselves against the legs of horses that were driven into a pond. Everyone assumed the story was exaggerated folklore. Catania proved it was real. When the eel does this, when it presses its chin against a target and fires, the physics change dramatically. By curling its body and pressing its positive pole, which is located near its head, directly against the target while keeping its tail, the negative pole, in the water, the eel essentially completes a circuit through the target's body. The electricity no longer has to travel through water, which disperses and weakens it. It goes directly through whatever it's touching. Catania calculated that this behavior can increase the current reaching a target by up to 70% compared to a discharge fired through water. Almost nobody realizes what that means in practice. An eel capable of producing 860 volts in water, firing that discharge through direct physical contact, is delivering an electrical shock the likes of which almost nothing in nature can survive without serious consequences. There are documented cases, historical and modern, of electric eels killing large animals. Small crocodilians have been found dead near areas with high eel populations. Cattle and horses that wandered into the wrong stretch of Amazon tributary have died from eel discharges. And while direct human fatalities from electric eel strikes are rare in the medical literature, the mechanism for a lethal outcome is absolutely there. A person with a heart condition, or a person who goes unconscious in deep water after a powerful discharge, can and does die. And yet, the electric eel can't rely on electricity alone, because electricity uses energy, and generating 600 to 800 volts thousands of times a day would deplete any animal. So the eel has evolved a second system, a system that consumes far less power but delivers something arguably more impressive: the ability to see in complete darkness without using its eyes at all. Electric eels can perceive their environment through a process called electroreception. They generate a constant low-voltage electrical field around their body, just a few millivolts, and then detect distortions in that field caused by objects in their environment. Every rock, every submerged log, every fish, every electric eel rival's detected this way. The animal essentially maintains a three-dimensional electromagnetic map of its entire surroundings at all times. This isn't unique to electric eels. Sharks do something similar with their ampullae of Lorenzini, and weakly electric fish from Africa have parallel systems. But what makes the electric eel extraordinary is that it can toggle between this delicate sensory mode and the volcanic high-power discharge mode on demand, with the same organ system. It's the biological equivalent of using the same device as both a precision medical scanner and a cattle prod, simultaneously. And here's where the Amazon environment comes into the story, because none of this makes sense without understanding where the electric eel actually lives. The Amazon basin is one of the most complex and biologically rich ecosystems on Earth. During the rainy season, vast stretches of the Amazon floodplain become inundated with shallow, slow-moving, oxygen-depleted water. This is the electric eel's home. And those conditions, dark, murky, oxygen-poor, are precisely the conditions that make electricity useful and eyes essentially useless. The electric eel has an additional adaptation for those oxygen-poor waters. It breathes air. Unlike most fish, the electric eel relies almost entirely on air breathing through a heavily vascularized mouth, almost like a crude lung. It surfaces to breathe every few minutes. If it's prevented from surfacing, it will drown just like a mammal. This quirky arrangement means the electric eel exists in a peculiar biological niche. It's a fish that breathes like a mammal, generates electricity like a power station, hunts by remote controlling its prey's nervous system, and can deliver a physical electrical attack when threatened by something larger than itself. What scientists discovered next was genuinely unexpected, because when researchers started studying electric eels in their natural environment, not in aquarium tanks, they found a social behavior that nobody had ever documented before. In 2021, a team from the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute discovered something remarkable in a lagoon in the Brazilian Amazon. 101 electric eels, together, cooperatively hunting, in coordinated groups, simultaneously. This was unprecedented. Electric eels had always been considered solitary animals, aggressive, territorial, and asocial. And here were over 100 of them, organized into smaller hunting parties, herding a school of small fish into shallow water, and then simultaneously firing their high-voltage discharges in synchronized volleys. The fish had nowhere to go. The combined electrical field from 100 electric eels firing together was overwhelming. Dead fish floated to the surface by the hundreds, and the eels fed together. This changes everything we thought we knew about these animals. Because coordinated group hunting is a hallmark of highly intelligent social predators, wolves, orcas, dolphins, humans, nobody expected to add electric eels to that list. The evolutionary story of the electric eel goes back tens of millions of years, and it's one of the most extraordinary examples of convergent evolution in nature. The electroreception system, the ability to detect electrical fields, evolved independently at least 6 separate times across different animal lineages. Sharks got it. Platypuses got it. Certain salamanders and bees have versions of it. But the ability to generate high-voltage electricity for offense and defense, that evolved in the electric fish of South America and Africa independently. 2 completely separate continents. 2 completely separate lineages, both arriving at the same jaw-dropping solution to the problem of hunting in dark, murky water. The electric eel is most closely related not to true eels, but to carp and catfish. Its nearest relatives include the knifefish, long, flat, elegant animals that use weak electrical fields for communication and navigation. But at some point in the Miocene epoch, somewhere between 20 and 10 million years ago, one lineage of South American knifefish began ramping up its electrical output, generation by generation, mutation by mutation, until the voltage crossed a threshold where it was useful not just for sensing, but for stunning. And once that threshold was crossed, evolution ran with it. Because suddenly, this animal had an ability that nothing else in its environment had evolved any defense against. The prey fish of the Amazon had millions of years of experience avoiding jaws, avoiding speed, avoiding stealth. They had no framework for avoiding an invisible electrical pulse that seized their muscles before they even knew the predator was there. This is why the electric eel today is so dominant in its environment. It evolved a weapon so new, so fundamentally different from everything else, that its prey essentially never had time to develop a counter. And because it generates this weapon internally, it doesn't need to find or make it. It's available instantly, at any time, anywhere in the water. But here's a detail that scientists have only recently begun to fully appreciate. The electric eel doesn't just use electricity for hunting and defense. It uses it to communicate. When two electric eels meet, they don't just swim past each other. They exchange electrical signals, rapid, complex patterns of pulses that appear to carry information about the identity, size, sex, and physiological state of the sender. These signals can be detected by electroreception up to several meters away. It's essentially a silent, invisible language that no other animal in the environment can hear or decode. A private channel. Researchers have identified distinct pulse patterns in different populations of electric eels, almost like regional dialects. And during breeding season, the pulse patterns change dramatically, becoming more complex and more frequent. The male electric eel builds a foam nest using his saliva and guards it aggressively. When rivals approach, the exchange of electrical signals can escalate, and if those signals don't resolve the standoff, the result is something surreal to watch. Two electric eels, locked in combat, each firing high-voltage discharges at the other. An electrical duel. The astonishing thing is that the eels don't immediately incapacitate each other. This is partly because the electrocytes fire in a way that the eel's own nervous system is partially shielded, not perfectly, but enough. The animal that absorbs the most electricity and continues functioning longest wins. Now, let's talk about something that gets glossed over in most documentaries. The question of intelligence. Electric eels have relatively large brains for fish. Their electroreception system requires sophisticated neural processing, constantly analyzing the distortions in their self-generated electrical field, distinguishing between rocks, plants, and living animals, tracking movement, and integrating this information with their visual system and lateral line, another vibration-sensing organ. All of this happens in real time, continuously, without conscious effort, while the eel is also managing its hunting strategies, its social communications, and its breathing schedule. The 2021 discovery of cooperative group hunting adds another dimension to this. Coordinated hunting requires communication, timing, and the ability to anticipate the behavior of other individuals in the group. These are cognitive demands that most fish brains simply aren't built for. Whether electric eels possess something we might cautiously call planning or social intelligence is a question that researchers are now actively investigating. What we do know is this: when scientists have tested electric eels in controlled environments, the animals show behavioral flexibility far beyond simple instinct. They adjust their hunting strategies based on the type of prey. They modify their electrical discharge patterns in response to new stimuli. They show signs of individual recognition, distinguishing between familiar and unfamiliar eels and responding differently to each. None of this is the blank, mechanical predator that most people imagine when they think of fish. This is something more complicated, something more interesting. The Amazon today faces enormous pressures: deforestation, pollution, climate change, dam construction disrupting water flow. The electric eel's habitat is shrinking. Its preferred environments, the flooded forest margins, the slow backwaters, the oxygen-depleted oxbow lakes, are being drained, filled, and developed. And because the electric eel is so adapted to those specific conditions, it's not flexible in the way that some generalist species are. Scientists are working to understand the full ecological role of the electric eel, not just as a predator, but as a generator of ecological structure. The areas where electric eels hunt become zones of intense predation pressure that shape the behavior and evolution of every other animal in the vicinity. Fish populations evolve faster reaction times. Birds learn to watch for the surface behavior that precedes a feeding event. Even large predators like caiman learn to avoid areas with high eel density. Remove the electric eel from that system, and you don't just remove one predator. You remove the architect of a behavioral landscape that every other species in the environment has adapted to. There is one final fact about the electric eel that I want to leave you with, because it's the kind of thing that sounds like science fiction, and yet it is entirely, documentably real. In 2023, researchers published a study demonstrating that electric eels can induce gene expression in nearby DNA, that the electrical pulses they generate are strong enough, under the right conditions, to cause electroporation in cells of nearby organisms. Electroporation is a process in which electrical fields cause temporary pores to form in cell membranes, allowing genetic material to enter the cell. It's a technique used in molecular biology laboratories with precisely controlled equipment to genetically modify cells. The electric eel, in other words, may have been performing a crude version of this process in the wild for tens of millions of years. The implications of that, for our understanding of how genes flow through ecosystems, for how evolution might work in ways we haven't imagined, are, to use the technical scientific term, mind-blowing. We tend to think of nature as something we study, something we categorize, something we understand. And then an animal like the electric eel reminds us that evolution has been running experiments for hundreds of millions of years, and some of those experiments have produced solutions so extraordinary that we're still reverse engineering them in our most advanced laboratories. The Amazon is dark and warm and full of things that don't need our permission to be astonishing. Somewhere in that brown water right now, 6,000 columns of biological batteries are charging. A pulse of electricity is being calculated to the millisecond. A nearby creature's heartbeat is being read like a signature. And something very old, very patient, and very, very powerful is deciding what to do next. That's the electric eel. And if you made it this far, you know things about this animal that most people will never know. Share this video. Drop a comment below telling me which fact hit you the hardest. And if you're not subscribed yet, you probably should be, because we're just getting started.